Hey, welcome! If you feel like you could be doing more with your career but aren't sure where to start, you are in exactly the right place. Think of this as your own personal coaching session. We're going to build your growth playbook step by step to help you get out of that comfort zone and really tap into your full potential.
So, let me ask you something. Does your career ever feel like it's just on autopilot? You're going through the motions, the days kind of blend together, and that fire you had at the beginning just feels a little dim. Look, if that sounds familiar, you're not alone. It's a super common feeling, and it's usually a sign that you've gotten a little too comfortable.
So, how can you really tell if you're stuck? Well, there are some pretty clear signals. Maybe you're just feeling totally unmotivated, almost apathetic about work. Or maybe you find yourself pushing back on new ideas because they feel like a threat to the way you've always done things. You might even catch yourself letting great opportunities slide by just because they feel a little risky. And a huge one, realizing your daily routine hasn't changed in months or even years. If any of this is hitting home, it's not a flaw. It's just a sign that you're living deep inside your comfort zone.
Okay, so to get out of that rut, you need a map. Let's break down the psychological zones that really control our performance and our ability to grow. Getting this framework is the absolute key to moving forward without burning out.
First up, let's talk about the comfort zone itself. It's basically a mental space where we feel safe and in control. There's very little stress or anxiety. It's where everything is predictable. And that's not a bad thing. We need that sense of safety. But the downside is, nothing really grows there.
And this visual right here, it's perfect. Because it shows that the goal isn't to leap from that cozy inner circle straight into total chaos. The sweet spot, the place where all the development happens, is that middle ring, the growth zone. If you push too far, too fast, you end up in the outer circle, the panic zone. And trust me, nothing good happens there.
And believe it or not, this isn't just some feel-good concept. It's actually backed by science. There's something called the Yerkes-Dodson law, and it basically says that our performance gets better with a little bit of stress. It makes us more alert, more focused. But, and this is the important part, only up to a point. Too much stress sends us right over the edge into that panic zone.
This 5K analogy just nails it, right? If you're training for a race, walking on a treadmill is your comfort zone. It's easy, no stress, but you're not getting any faster. Jogging, on the other hand, that's the growth zone. It's challenging, it gets your heart rate up, but trying to sprint the whole 5K on your first day, that's the panic zone. You're going to get overwhelmed, maybe even hurt yourself, and you'll probably just quit.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. Now we're going to shift from the what to the how. We're going to build your personal game plan with a simple 5-step guide to get you into that growth zone safely. This is it. This is the playbook. It's just 5 powerful steps. 1. Set a smart goal. 2. Make a realistic plan. 3. Actually take action. 4. And this is important, adjust as you go. And 5. Assess how you did and then set a new goal. Let's break each of these down.
And honestly, step 1 is probably the most crucial. A vague goal like, I want to get better at my job, just isn't going to cut it. You need a SMART goal. That means it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to your bigger picture, and time-bound with a clear deadline.
Let's stick with that 5K example because it's so clear. This is a perfect SMART goal. It's specific, the charity 5K. It's measurable, a time of 30 minutes or less. It's attainable for a beginner. It's relevant to a fitness goal. And it's time-bound, September 15th. See how there's no room for confusion? You know exactly what you're aiming for.
Look, stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't mean you have to do something huge, like quit your job. You can start small, with really low-risk stuff. Sign up for a class on something you know nothing about. Go explore a part of your own town you've never been to. Try learning a new skill, like an instrument. Or hey, what about finally having that tough conversation you've been putting off? Each one is a small push.
Okay, want to break it down even further? Let's talk daily micro habits. These are so simple. Try talking to one new person a day, even just the barista at the coffee shop, or take a different route to work. It forces your brain to wake up. You could even just spend 15 minutes a day learning about some random topic online. These tiny, consistent actions build incredible momentum over time.
And here's the part that's an absolute game changer. As you do these small things, you have to track them. Keep a simple log of your small wins. Did you talk to a stranger? Write it down. Learned one new phrase in another language? Note it. Seeing that progress, no matter how tiny, literally rewires your brain. It proves to you that you can handle new challenges, and that's what builds the real confidence you need to take on bigger things.
All right, but before you rush off, there's one last really critical piece to this: sustainability. It's amazing to push yourself, but it's not helpful if you push yourself right into burnout. This is all about playing the long game.
I really love this quote because it hits on such an important truth. You can't, and you shouldn't, try to live outside your comfort zone 24/7. That safe space is also where you rest, recharge, and make sense of everything you've learned. Think of it as your home base that you return to, not a prison you need to escape from. And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? The two paths you can take. On the left, you have sustainable growth. That's about finding that sweet spot of stress and planning time to rest. It's about seeing a setback as a chance to learn. But on the right, you have the path to burnout. That's constant anxiety, no downtime, and seeing every mistake as a total disaster. It's what happens when you take on way too much, way too fast.
So, how do you make sure you stay on that healthy path? First, get to know your own warning signs for being in the panic zone. Second, literally schedule downtime into your calendar. Protect it. Third, be willing to change your plan if you're feeling constantly swamped. And finally, celebrate the effort you're putting in, not just the final result. Acknowledge the work you're doing along the way.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Why should you even bother with all of this? What's the ultimate payoff for your career when you start making this a regular practice?
Because when you do this, the benefits for your career, they're huge. You become more productive, more creative, because your brain is always getting new input. You build this amazing resilience, so when things go wrong, and they will, you can handle it. You gain this deep, genuine self-confidence. You start to feel like you're actually in the driver's seat of your own career. And honestly, you just feel more alive and engaged in your work every single day.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought. Your comfort zone is a great place to visit for a rest, but it's not a place to live. The growth, the adventure, the career you really want, it's all waiting for you just outside that zone. So the only real question left is, what's your next move?